You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the February 2026 regular council meeting for the Municipality of Eastern Charlotte. I'm Florence Mitchell. Today's meeting begins with a presentation by Emma Keach of the Charlotte County Seniors Resource Center and a presentation by Jordan Holmes on the Eastern Charlotte Night Market. Under Old Business, Council will discuss social media policy and training options, and Council will move to adopt terms of reference for the Blacks Harbor Water Project. Under New Business, Council will move to authorize the reallocation of $160,000 from capital reserve funds for the purchase of 2 trucks ordered in 2025. Council will also move to adopt the municipality's 2024 to 2028 capital investment plan for the Canada Community Building Fund. Additionally, Council will move to give first and second readings to Bylaw EC03-26, an amendment to the bylaw respecting remuneration of council, and Bylaw EC06A, a replacement bylaw respecting all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads. Council will move to award tender 2025-08 for the demolition and removal of buildings and debris on 160 Back Bay Loop Road. Council will also move to approve a lease agreement for the space on the upper floor of the St. George Post Office. Finally, Council will address a code of conduct complaint made by a councillor towards the mayor. Now let's join Council at Macadavic Place in St. George.
I will now call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. here at Macadavic Place, St. George. Good evening and welcome to the February 2026 regular council meeting for Eastern Charlotte Council. I welcome all those that are attending here tonight and those that are watching us on television. I want to thank CHCO for being here tonight, and Florence Mitchell's in the back, and Vicki Hogarth is actually doing the camera tonight. Last week, Canada went into mourning with the mass shooting at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School in British Columbia. 5 children and their teacher were murdered, and 27 others were injured. Our nation is in shock. Please join me in a moment of silence for the victims of Tumbler Ridge of the Senseless Act, along with their families who forever will be grieving. Profound gratitude goes out to all the first responders, the RCMP officers who entered the school not knowing what awaited them, the paramedics and medical staff, as well, of course, the teachers and school staff who acted with immense courage to protect the children in their care. At this point, Council, I'm going to look for a motion to adopt the agenda. I think Councillor Lee, you want to do that tonight?
Yeah, I move to approve tonight's agenda with one item change to be added under new business, and that is a donation to the St. George Animal Shelter, which I will make under 10H.
Right, under 10H, good. Now we'll add that to new business, but I need a seconder for that. Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on that motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. That's passed unanimously. That brings us to, make sure I don't jump too far. Conflict of interest. Anybody who wants to declare a conflict of interest may do so now. 4 is the adoption of the minutes of previous council meetings. We can do that as a group if you like. I need a motion to be able to do that. Oh, Councillor Thompson.
I move to approve the minutes as circulated to members of council for January 21st, 2026, January 27th, 2026, February 3rd, 2026, and February the 10th, 2026.
Great. We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on the motion? Councilor Derek,
sure. I'd like to make an amendment to February 10th, 2026 meeting. With the discussions, there was a discussion there's a point that's missing, and that was we discussed the possibility of using an alternative building in the community for childcare. So I'd like to include that in the minutes as well, please.
That's to be added. Yeah, no. Jason's got that. That's added to that motion, is that correct? We didn't vote on that. Okay, all in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed. That brings us to 6 delegations tonight. 6A is the Seniors Resource Center. Emma Keach. Emma Keach. Yeah, yeah.
Hello there, my name is Emma Keach.
Hi.
I was here a couple of years ago, so I just felt it was time to come back and give you an update on what our Charlotte County Seniors Resource Centre Nursing Home Without Walls has been up to. So just to remind you, on November 1st in 2023, the Resource Centre officially began operations under Passamaquoddy Lodge as part of our Nursing Home Without Walls program. We're funded through social development. We had a soft opening on December 7th, 2023. And as we grew in March 2024, an application was submitted to social development for a budget amendment to support an expansion of 2 satellite services, 2 satellite offices. We had our grand opening on May 13th, 2024. And that same month, we brought on a Campobello community coordinator and a Grand Manan community coordinator in July 3rd, 2024. In August 2024, the Resource Centre onboarded an administrative assistant, and our most recent addition is Eastern Charlotte's dedicated community coordinator, Amanda Smart. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Scott, excuse me. Nerves.
Change your name.
Excuse me. We do have an Angela Smart, excuse me. We recently celebrated our 2-year anniversary on November 1st, 2025, and we are now looking forward to our 3rd year of operations, continuing to serve our community. So people are finding us in all different ways. We've built partnerships with other service providers, including extramural, social development. People can self-refer to us. We're on a municipalities websites. When we first started, we had 2 staff, but over the past 2 years, our team has grown significantly from 2 to 6 staff. Our main office is located in St. Andrews, and the satellite sites are in Grand Manan, Campobello, Eastern Charlotte, St. Stephen. These coordinators will visit clients in their homes to eliminate any transportation, financial, and physical barriers. And now I'm going to speak to what we do. I should also mention that the advisory committee, we have an advisory committee who provides governance, oversight, and strategic guidance for the Nursing Home Without Walls. You may recognize one of those names as a hometown hero, Sharon Boyne-Travis, representing Eastern Charlotte. And as she's on the age-friendly, we certainly appreciate her expertise. The advisory committee monitors outcomes, supports effective service delivery, reports to the board of directors for Passamaquoddy Lodge, and advocates for program sustainability and supports staff capacity. This is a breakdown of registered clients we have per area. Since this was done, we actually are standing at 503 clients across Charlotte County and the Fundy Isles. I think it's one of those. Yeah, perfect, thank you. So what we do is we offer system navigation to seniors, 60 plus. So some of the programs that we've helped seniors apply for and registered clients are property tax allowance, the direct-to-tenant benefit, rent subsidy, backdating of New Brunswick drug plans, workers benefit, the low-income senior benefit. We've also backdated guaranteed income supplement for people. We've helped people with home repairs, fuel benefits. We have equipment that we can loan out. We've also helped people apply for backdated CPP, disability. These are the services particularly that have been accessed. We've helped people access in Eastern Charlotte. It's an ever-growing list, but we are a community-driven and client-driven. So the things that people are needing help with is what we help with, as long as it's within our scope. So to date, we've actually applied for seniors $1,156,198.98. So that's money that we've helped seniors and clients access.
That's awesome.
We've assisted 18 clients apply for the home repair program through the home repair program, minor home repair program. They're all in several different stages, but the reason I wanted to provide this slide was because we actually had one client in Eastern Charlotte receive repairs to her roof. This program has grown beyond simply assisting with home repairs. It helps clients to stay at home, age safely in their homes in many cases, and allows other service providers to continue offering essential support, strengthening both independence and community connections. In 2024, we had our first Seniors Expo in St. Andrews. We had 28 vendors and 135 visitors. Last year, we held it at the Garcelon Civic Center. We had 41 vendors and 286 attendees. We heard from the community that there was a need for accessible information in one space. And so all the service providers here were invited to provide information on aging in place. We offer a monthly newsletter that is actually can be through email or can be delivered. This has become a very popular item, offering information on community events and programs that people may be eligible for. We also offer educational sessions on a wide range of topics, again, listening to the community. Our most recent was we had offered a Parkinson's information session. We also collaborate with MB Libraries to offer computer lessons. And we are currently working on offering information sessions in collaboration with the Public Legal Education and Information Service of New Brunswick for the spring. And we try to offer those across Charlotte County in each area. So one of our biggest wins has been serving as a trusted landing pad and listening ear for individuals who are seeking information and support. When we have been unable to assist directly, we ensure people are guided in the right direction. We deliver information in ways that is accessible to the community, whether it be written form, digital, or through other formats, so nobody is left behind. A core priority of becoming a nursing home without walls site was gaining a deeper understanding of the population we serve. As a result of this work, we have been recognized as one of the strong examples for future rural and remote sites, including being invited to present our approach to rural Ottawa Health Society. So I just wanted to let you know that there's a lot of work going on in the community, and this is where we stand, and we're moving into our third year, and we look forward to continuing these services. We did just sign a 5-year contract with social development, so we're 1 year in, so we have 4 years left, but the biggest news is that we do have a dedicated community coordinator in Eastern Charlotte. So, thank you for listening.
Before you go, I'm just going to ask council if they have any questions or comments. I want to thank you very much for coming in. Oh, I shouldn't look to my left. No, thank you very much for coming in tonight, and it's great that the seniors have another resource and to be able to help them. I think seniors are under a lot of pressure today, especially, with tax assessments and that sort of thing. I think that tax assessments have to be changed in order to be able, so they can stay in their home, can afford to stay in their homes. So it's great that you're able to work with these seniors and fixing up their homes and stuff too. So it's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda Scott, for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I'll call on Jordan Holmes for the night market.
Good evening, Council. Oh, move a little closer here. Yes, that's right. Good evening, Council. I'm Jordan Holmes. I'm here to talk about the Eastern Charlotte Night Market. We formed the night market kind of as a response to the development that was happening in Riverside Park. It's my understanding that one of the goals of building the pavilion at Riverside Park was kind of keeping markets in mind. So we sort of formed the night market in part, thinking in partnership with the municipality. The idea was to essentially work with the municipality to develop these markets. So as you can see, we have our board up here. So we wanted to keep a tight 5-member board just to kind of keep us agile, but with enough membership that we're able to kind of keep succession. As you can see now, we have 3 members, myself, the president, our treasurer, Sue Guthrie, who is here with me tonight, and Jennifer Martin, who joined us just about a month after we started kind of putting the markets together. Let's go on the next slide. So here are our core objectives. Now, kind of the main one here is we really want to encourage local spending. We're hoping to kind of encourage farmers, craftspeople, everyone you kind of see listed there, to build their businesses here and bring their products here, make them available for residents. And it kind of has the added benefit of creating a recreational activity that anyone can attend. There are really no barriers. A couple of sort of secondary elements to our market here. We're trying to create opportunities for people that want to build skills working with the community. So just as an example, at our earlier markets, we had members of the Funny Middle High School grad class come and volunteer with us. So the idea was to just have them sell tickets and greet guests as they're coming in, help us with tracking information like visitorship. And in that process, working with the Funny Middle High grad class, we also went into an agreement with them to essentially share proceeds from ticket sales, and we had some beverage sales as well. So the idea was we split whatever earnings we get from those activities. And then really just to kind of offer those sort of volunteer and employment opportunities for other individuals in the community. So we've got a little bit of, we've only been running for a few months here, but we've got a few stats. So last year we held a total of 3 markets, keeping in mind we only started really in earnest in October. Now, we didn't really track the visitorship on our October 24 market, which was kind of our first standalone market. I estimate roughly 300 guests. Could be more, hard to say. We also tracked how many people responded to our public event on Facebook that we have posted every time we have a market. So basically what I would do is I would just go and look how many people responded interested or going to our event. So as you can kind of see, November 13, the numbers are a lot closer. We were expecting close to 400. We got just shy of 400 people coming through. And literally all we're doing, we have someone with a clicker. They just click every time someone comes through. So there's definitely margin of error with that. In that process of tracking our stats, we're also looking at things that could be impediments to visitorship and things that could be benefits. So, for example, December 19th, you can see the visitorship is quite low compared to what we were expecting. And in fact, we were projecting much higher numbers than previous markets. a big limiting factor, if you look, the date is December 19th. Well, that's when we had that big windstorm. We actually had to move the market indoors for the first time. That put us in a bit of a bind. And naturally, I think we had just over 100 visitors that night, which I think is still impressive considering it was like 100 kilometer per hour gusts that night. So we're trying to keep track of our metrics, and this is really just a useful tourism tool. I think that's something that we're kind of lacking across New Brunswick, really. We're not always necessarily keeping track of our metrics here. Now, and then the other point I've got just at the bottom here, by the end of the year, we had just over 80 vendors coming from St. Stephen all the way to St. John. That ranges from craftspeople, food vendors, and I'm talking hot food, people coming with food stands. You come and, you know, it's a burger or whatever. Yeah, so that's just kind of roughly to give you an idea of the stats that we're tracking at the moment. And mind you, we have a very limited data set because we started in the, last half of the year. So just looking ahead, and this was a very recent market we just held in this building. So this past Friday, we had over 30 vendors signed up. I think we only lost 2 that night, which is actually really impressive considering how many people bail last minute typically. So yeah, I think we had 31 in total. 2 hot food vendors that have, I think, started to become very well liked, and I think people are starting to expect them to come. So a gentleman by the name of Jay Wilson, he runs something called Pork City Smokers. Basically, he has smoked barbecue. He does like mac and cheese and smash burgers, stuff like that. He comes all the way from St. John. And then we have Carrie McGregor, who is coming from St. Stephen. He does wood-fired pizza. So, comfort foods. We did have some live music just on the stage behind you. So Sarah Lafferty came in. She's a teacher at the Blacks Harbor School, and she came and played her violin. And we actually had her in December as well. We had some technical difficulties then, but this time I think things went a little smoother for her. And this is kind of the trend that we want to keep with future markets. Especially in the summertime, I can see when we're down in Riverside Park, we're in the pavilion, and up in the bandstand is one of the many local talents coming to perform. And then another thing that has been a mainstay of our market, the door prizes and fundraising initiatives. So typically a door prize would be, we get the vendors together, each one puts in an item, and we collect names at the door. We don't always get everybody, unfortunately, but everyone that comes through, we get their name and number, and then at the end of the night, we draw a name, and someone wins a whole bunch of free goodies. Fundraising initiatives have been a variety of mostly raffles, and I think our most recent one was, 10 pounds of lobster, and I think we had a dozen of cupcakes made by a past vendor.
Yes, and I won those cupcakes.
Yes, you did. I remember that.
And I want to tell everybody I didn't eat any of them.
You gave them back.
Especially my doctor.
And let me tell you,
Didn't eat 'em.
I think maybe the only one that made it out of the building was the one that I took home, and then I ate it shortly after I got home. So, yeah. But I think what we did there was we had 2 separate tickets we were selling for that, because it's kind of weird to put them together. But in previous ones, I think like for December, we did a wreath made by someone from the community, as well as a heart-shaped wreath, and we sold gift cards that were donated by local businesses. I think Home Hardware and the drugstores and Subway, and I think there were a few other ones. And basically the idea is, with these fundraising initiatives, we're raising a little bit of money for our operating costs, but we're also raising money for example, the Fundy Middle High School grad class, We're looking to sort of expand that by bringing in other organizations. We're still kind of workshopping, you know, who would want to be involved and who would we want to be involved. Yeah, and then, you know, for the rest of the year, we've kind of already put the announcement out, but I'm going to do it again. April 3rd, 2026 is the launch of our weekly markets. This is something that, you know, I've been talking closely with Kara Hatt from Parks and Rec. The plan is to keep our same schedule. We've traditionally done 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. In the summer months, I think we could probably expand that into maybe 10 p.m. We're also thinking in the summer months, we'll most likely be able to expand how many vendors we can have. Typically, we've had, well, at most about 30 or so. We managed to fit 31 vendors on the property. 2 of them were outside, so 29 inside. Outside, obviously, we have a lot more room to work with. I think we've thrown around the number of about 50 or so. Feels like a pretty good number. And like I mentioned before, we're trying to create opportunities for individuals and organizations to essentially offer volunteer hours in exchange for funds raised towards their causes. And we're also looking into hiring a student for the summer if we can. We've looked into seed funding. I don't think we create enough hours for something like that just yet. But we are looking into seeing how we can create kind of an opportunity for a student to have a little bit of income and do something kind of meaningful in the community. Yeah, and then finally, we kind of want to make ourselves available to work with the municipality in developing Riverside Park, because this is a space that we intend to use regularly. So my intention is to continue having discussions with Jason and Kara and anyone on council that wants to talk about how we can build Riverside Park into an even better destination than it already is. Yeah, and then this last slide. Here's our contact info. If you email easterncharlottenightmarket@gmail.com, you'll get me. Our social media is, I mean, you can search us on Facebook. Easy enough to find us. If you message us, all 3 board members have access to the Facebook, but I think it's probably fair to say that I answer most of the time. Or if you know any of the 3 board members, feel free to get in touch with us. Any questions?
Good. At this point, I just want to make sure that everybody knows who you are. Some of you may not know that Jordan is our representative on the Service Commission. He sits on the Tourism Committee. So you probably have seen the name on the paper. This is Jordan anyway. So, and I want to thank you.
Also the chair.
And you actually became
Recently
the new
elected to chair.
You just elected the chair. Congratulations. And no, I want to thank you for doing all this, the night markets and using an area, the Riverside Park. That's something we just had built. You're doing something positive there, and it's great to see. Yeah, awesome.
I remember looking back and reading initial documents about building the pavilion, and a market was mentioned as one of the use cases.
Yeah.
And this was a couple months after we had already started, and I went, oh, serendipity, I guess.
No, it's great. You took the bull by the horns and you got it done. So we appreciate it. I think it's one of these things that's going to grow and get bigger and better.
It'll probably grow
we'll have to
beyond
build
our
a new
reach.
pavilion out there, another one. Councillor Lee.
Yeah, I'd also like to thank you, Jordan, for taking the lead on this. We all worked very hard over the last couple of years to try to do something with that place because it's so nice down there. We spent a few bucks with the pavilion and the bandstand, and to have someone come in like you and lead the charge to get it going is great. Thanks. I do also think that that's going to take off this summer.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Councillor Dederakis.
I also want to say the same thing. Like previous to the Eastern Charlotte Night Market forming, I couldn't count the number of people that said that they wanted a market in our area. So your group actually took the initiative to do it and make it happen and continue to make it happen. So I really appreciate that. I'm sure everyone else here appreciates that as well. I actually just came back from a a fitness class before I came here, and one of the people in the class, she actually bought all her Christmas presents at the last night market. So
That's great.
Already?
yeah.
Oh my boy, I feel
So,
bad.
I mean, it's great. It's great. So when is
Guess
the
I'm behind.
when is the next night market? I understand, like, starting on April 3rd, that's when we're going to see more weekly markets. Is there going to be a market in between now and then?
No, we got to fine tune some things.
Okay.
And then April 3rd will be and then once we get going, it's full steam ahead. Once a week, there will be a market. And the first, that first market's going to be at Riverside Park. And the plan is, I mean, really rain or shine, unless we're getting 100-kilometer-per-hour gusts again, we're going to be outside. And I have talked to Kara about, this is kind of farther in the future, at least a year out, I would say. Coming in the wintertime, we'd like to try and do markets in here. So that would really be January, February, I think. We have to kind of finalize those details a bit, but I have talked to Kara about it, and I've also, the only other hiccup really is with public health, and I think we've dealt with that as well, because public health, the way that they handle the licensing for public markets, it's different than a public event, which I think the municipality is probably more familiar with. So public markets have somewhat looser regulations on food sales. Certain foods are permitted to be prepared for sale in a personal kitchen. So things like baked goods, honey, jams, really like kind of easy, non-perishable stuff. So we're working closely with a contact from public health. We're trying to make sure that we're doing all this above board, because the last thing we want is to get this shot down by another level of government while we're working with this level of government. So the only real hang up that we had was I talked to him and I said, what if we do markets at Riverside Park, and then come wintertime, we move them inside somewhere? And they said, really, like, tread carefully, because the licensing and the way that it works with public markets is it's entirely location-based. If you move the location, you're basically starting a new market from their perspective. And whether you agree with that or not, that's the way that they want to do it. And basically, he just said to me, if that's what you want to do markets inside and have the ability to move the Eastern Charlotte Night Market inside if necessary, then we'll just have two separate markets with the exact same name, branding, everything. It sounds funny, but whatever it takes to make it work, right?
Any other questions for Council? Thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
it. How about a big round of applause for everybody, for all the delegations tonight, the Seniors Resource Center and the Night Market. Thank you very much for all that you're doing for our community. Thank you for coming in tonight. We really appreciate it. Now we get to the interesting stuff, the General Government Report. The CAO, Jason Gadet.
Thank you, Your Worship. The General Government Report for the month of January 2026 for finance and HR related. Erica Gagne has been hired for the role of the Administrative Assistant and is starting with us. She started now, but she started January the 17th. HR is working on annual reviews for staff, as well as conducting leadership training for department heads. A posting for full-time position in Blacks Harbor Public Works has been issued. The financial auditors are expected to be on site in early March, and we're working on a replacement of an accountant for Mark Porter, who is scheduled to retire after many years. I think Mark Porter has been involved in municipal accounting since the mid-1980s, so he's retiring this year, and we are working on a replacement for him. Water and wastewater, the water exploration envelope has received EIA comments from the province, now awaiting permission to use Crown Reserve Road. I think we're finally ironing that out. It's been a while. For Phase 2, operational improvements prior to spring flushing on global log pressure data at the hydrants in Blacks Harbor. For the Phase 2B water system renewals, OnGlobe expects to provide the council with a report on replacement cost, and we'll schedule a meeting once completed for next steps, and I think we'll probably get that this week with the replacement cost. So meeting with foremen on wastewater initiatives for this year, such as sewage lift station upgrades in St. George and adding online flow meters to wastewater in Blacks Harbor. Childcare, the tender on the proposed new childcare building closed on January the 28th, and all 8 pre-qualified contractors submitted a bid, with the lowest bid being at $2.38 million. The project is currently under review, and we're waiting final decision on the level of financial support from the provincial government. While early discussions with the province, a funding model of nearly a 3-way split of 33% was part of the early discussions. After tendering was completed, the final construction cost was provided to the province, and the allocation of funding changed to 30%. 30% for the feds, 17% for the province, and the remaining 53% for the municipality. So that would leave the municipality being at $1.3 million. So it's a big difference going from the province commitment of 33% or higher down to just 17%. Additional cost would be for short-term borrowing to cover the financing of the project as well. An application for the Capital Borrowing Board would be required if we were to proceed with that. I think we may just have the tendering documents on for the March Council's meeting in March. Public Works working through winter snow removal and several breakdown repairs, installation, and electrical work is being completed on the Blacks Harbor Works building. We will be able to move in once completed. Still awaiting delivery of the 2 vehicles. I'm not sure about Ford, but we ordered these Ford trucks in October, and now they're saying they're going to be scheduled to be here in March. So there's a 6-month delay in ordering new Ford F-150s. Parks and Recreation repairs were required on the condenser for the arena. Repairs were scheduled for the exterior windows in February, with several windows having been missing or panes or being cracked. We're still awaiting project report application for the retrofit of the ice plant as per the 2023 boiler inspector report, and this work is currently is with Silk Stevens here in St. George. Staff will be meeting to review actions for recreation sites for the spring-summer schedule. Call out has been made for local photographers to submit photographs for next year, over the next few months for next year's calendar 2027. In addition, in addition to local photos in the calendar, will provide important dates such as garbage pickup, recycle weeks as well. Housing and Development. Project Village Housing is restarting work on Willow Court and have been asked to submit building permits for Lewis Connors Lane to have that administrative work started to avoid any further delays. We did get some emails recently from them saying that they will be starting some footings on their project, so that's hopefully starting to move in the right direction. Working with the Service Commission on rezoning of a property in Greenlaw Valley. I think it's mentioned in the next report, in Blacks Harbor, that wants to build small homes. And that is my general government report.
Great. Thank you, Jason. Question or comment? If not, I'll move ahead. If there's none, the reports of the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission, and I'll go to Jason again on this.
Yeah, Alex Henderson offers his regrets there. He's away in Winnipeg on convention. So the Building Planning and Enforcement report for month of January. A tourism accommodation developer has submitted a rezoning application for a property in Blacks Harbor, and planning staff have prepared draft amendment bylaws and reports for council's consideration. Planners are able to present this application at a future council working committee meeting. PRAC has approved a similar or two comparable with variance request at their regular January meeting for 128 Jack Road in Penfield to permit 2 separate dwellings on one lot, subject to condition preventing a future subdivision of undersized lots. Development update for Eastern Charlotte, 3 total net new home apartment buildings were permitted year to date, 9 building demolition or development permits approved year to date. Total construction value permitted in Eastern Charlotte year to date has been $1.35 million. 1 tentative subdivision plan approved for 3 new building lots, and 1 zoning confirmation letter is issued, and 1 variance terms and conditions approval year to date. As far as enforcement, 5 new enforcement cases open in Eastern Charlotte year to date. This enforcement of the Community Planning Act, Building Code Administration Act, or the Dangerous Unsightly Premises Act. And that's submitted by Alex Henderson.
Great. Question or comment from council? If not, we'll move ahead to the fire report, and I'll call on Councillor Thompson.
The fire report for January 2026, 4 fire calls, 28 public service calls, 17 medical calls for a total of 49. I'd like to say thank you to the fire club for their donations to the food bank and help with the food drive, and their financial donations to the 3 other organizations in the community. Thank you.
Great. Questions, comments in the fire report? No? Public Works report. I'll call on Councillor McQuarrie.
January was a busy month for vehicles. They had all kinds of problems, but they're getting them all fixed up. They're doing regular maintenance to try to keep ahead of it. Snow removal has been heavy, and it's going to get heavier by the end of the month, I'll guarantee you. Potholes have begun to show up in full force now, with filling becoming a regular job. Christmas lights were removed from the Main Street posts and stored. They had some electrical issues with a couple of plows. They've been fixed. They have 2 fire hydrants tagged out as service. Neither will flow water and are being investigated for the problems. That was it for, who was that? That was St. George's. Where'd Blackers go? Hey? Is it? I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached to somebody. Oh, there we go.
Councillor McQuarrie, you've had a busy couple months, so we all understand that you've been doing a lot of plowing.
Yeah, I need time off. Public Works doing regular checks of water and the wastewater treatment system. Sewer lagoon and pond number 1 and blower number 1. Overload relay for the motor was tripping out and had it replaced, and it's working fine now. Fire hydrant diffusers and adapters have arrived and fitted to monitor flow rate and PSI for the flushing program in the spring. Sewer service at Glenny Court was needed. Public Works had the line flushed and followed up with a camera report. Snow plowing and sanding the hills is going to be ongoing. Storm drain maintenance involves keeping the drains open is ongoing. Cold mix applied to potholes and streets where needed is ongoing. Back window on the 1-ton needed service. Switch are short in wire as they stop working. The 3-ton truck welding on the screen for the dump box and installed the screen and the backup lights. Garbage truck passed inspection, MVI inspection, but still needs a little work on other things. Water and backhoe had water in the fuel, so it had to be drained and refilled, and the coolant leak repaired and lock pins for plow blade repaired. That's it.
Great. Thank you, Councillor McQuarrie. Questions or comments on that? Councillor Dederakis, you're first.
Your Worship, I have a question for our CAO. In the St. George report, it says that we have 2 fire hydrants tagged out of service. Which fire hydrants are those?
I'm not familiar with which ones are out of service. I'll have to get back to you and check.
The red
Sure.
ones? The red ones.
And would you say that every single fire hydrant in St. George, is it flow tested? Are all the hydrants flow tested?
Part of the annual, we do 2 flushings a year in St. George, so at that point they're exercised. Even ones that aren't on the flushing report are supposed to be exercised. So at this point, we've never had anything with the exception of these 2 that have come back as service issues. So yes, I would say they are.
So all hydrants are
Yes.
inspected?
Yep.
Could we have a copy of the inspection schedule? Just
Yep.
because there's one, I know of one hydrant that I don't believe that has been inspected, but I would like just confirmation for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that brings us to the Parks and Recreation report. Councillor Hatt isn't here tonight. He's not feeling well. So the other hat, our Deputy Mayor, is going to give that to us tonight. Thank you. We always have 2 hats.
Eastern Charlotte Rec Complex, ice maintenance, edging, and multi-plat pattern dry serving done daily. Daily inspection and maintenance logs are completed as needed. Simcoe is scheduled for the new year to overhaul compressor number 1. Oh, I thought I had done, sorry. We removed a few arena board advertisements, so if you're in a local business and are interested in having your ad on the boards, please reach out to the municipal office, and that would be Kara Hatt, I presume, for this exciting opportunity. We offer free opportunities to get out and enjoy the facility, like pucks and sticks, Monday and Thursday, 3:15 to 5:15. Adult skates Tuesday and Thursdays, 11:30 to 1:30. Tots kiddos on ice Wednesdays, 3:30 to 4:30. And open skate Tuesdays, 3 to 5:15. And all other facilities, Canal Beach, Splash Pad, etc., routine checks, and keep an eye on them, make sure they survive the winter.
Great. And thank you, Deputy Mayor. It was just like 2 minutes ago I asked you to do this, so you did a good job. Any questions or comments for Deputy Mayor? If not, we'll move ahead to other committee reports. Any other committee reports tonight? Councillor Dederakis, you have one? Or yeah?
All right, so the Age-Friendly Committee has welcomed 2 new members, Lisa Hunter from the RCMP and Bob Wright. We are currently working on an emergency preparedness workshop, so we have the dates for that. So the first date is for the delivery of trauma-informed crisis response training, which is on March 21st. And on April 18th, it's going to be the emergency preparedness and evacuation for seniors workshop. We'll be working with the Eastern Charlotte Fire Department, Charlotte County Search and Rescue, St. George Extramural, EMO, Ambulance NB, and Red Cross. We're still working on the emergency kits. We met with the Fire Club on January 30th to discuss upcoming workshops and how we can share practical tips, exchange resources, and help build community support and confidence. And we also helped co-host the Love in Motion Valentine's Social at the Macadavic Place. And that is it.
Great. Any questions for Councillor Dederakis? If not, we'll move ahead to the financial statement tonight. I need a motion to accept the financial reports for January 2026. And Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of accepting the financial reports for January 2026 signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. There is no old business tonight. There is no business. 9A is the social media policy and training. I'll just go to Jason on this. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. So we did circulate to the council the current social media policy. I do think that probably it's a good time to update that, especially with this mandate come to an end. If this council has any feedback on that. Certainly we've used some different things over the years just with social media strategies that we've taken from various other municipalities, but something to be put into a policy, I guess, just in regard especially to social media itself. So I'd just would be looking for some sort of a feedback on that and how we can progress that along. We are still looking at facilitating a training with some staff to go through some training. We're just trying to locate timing with training and something that isn't like a full week or a long period of time, especially as we're just bringing on some new staff there too. But we'll be hopefully to update council at the next meeting to say training's been completed, and maybe we'll have a draft for the new social media policy.
Great. Any questions or comments? If not, we'll move ahead to 9B, the Blacks Harbour Water Project Communication Committee, the terms of reference. I need a motion. I know, first I'm going to go Jason on this, and then then I'll entertain a motion.
So old business is the Black Harbor Water Communications Subcommittee terms of reference. We have a draft that's been sent around and updated with council the various working committees, and we have this. Sorry about that. So the Black Harbor Water Communications Subcommittee, we've had a draft that's been going around with the working committees that we've had. And I guess at this point, it just would be, we need council to approve the terms of reference, and I think the next thing we'd be doing is then forming the membership. And but at this point, we're just looking to get the terms of reference passed.
Okay, okay. At this point, council, I'm looking for a motion. Councilor Lee.
Be it resolved that the Blacks Harbor Water Project Terms of Reference document be adopted.
We have a motion on the floor, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Question or comment on the motion? Yeah, Councilor Tidd, you're first.
Just for reference, so we're going to be putting out application for the membership, correct? Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's passed unanimously. New business tonight. 10A, the Capital Reserve Fund for Trucks. This is the interesting ones. The truck order, I get all excited when I see about new trucks. The truck order of 2025. I need a motion, or Jason, I'm going to go Jason first, and then I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you, Your Worship. So just some background on this. At the September 23rd, 2025 special meeting, council allocated $300,000 for the purchase of 3 trucks. In November, we received the F-550 for Public Works and $140,000 for utilized for the purchase of the truck and setup. So we utilized 140 of that 300,000. The other 2 trucks, the Ford F-250 crew cab for the fire department and the F-150 crew cab for Parks and Rec are on order, and they've been since October. So what we had to do at the end of the year, we had to move some of those funds, because if not, they would have just moved into a second-year surplus, and we wouldn't have been able to utilize those funds until 2027. So we moved them temporarily over to our capital reserve, so we'd be looking at a motion of council to bring that money back, the reallocation of $160,000 of the capital reserve for the purchase of the 2 vehicles that were ordered in 2025. So that would, we still moved over $400,000 at the end of last year, but this would be 160 of that.
Great. At this point, council, I'll entertain a motion. Come on, there we go. Councilor Thompson. There we go.
Be it resolved that council authorizes the relocation of $160,000 from the capital reserve funds for the purchase of 2 vehicles that were ordered in 2025 in association with the council motion of September 23rd, 2025.
I have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Deputy Mayor. Question or comment? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, that's passed unanimously. 10B, the update to Canada Community Building Fund, 24 to 28. Jason.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is the formerly known as the Gas Tax Fund. Eastern Charlotte is in the 2024-2028 Gas Tax Fund, or the renamed Canada Community Building Fund, CCBF. So last year, 2024 and 2025 funds were allocated for paving in St. George. We did Brunswick Street, Main Street. We did Granite Street in St. George as well. We did Hospital Street in Blacks Harbor. So for the 2024-28 update, looking at the 26 year, the current year that we're in, we just need a motion of council to make the adjustments for the 2026 year, which would be Cedar Court, Blacks Harbor, Brunswick Street, Blacks Harbor, and the Prince William Street at the subdivision in St. George. And so yeah, that would be reallocating those funds for the 2026 gas tax portion.
Okay, Jason just gave a quick report. I need a motion to move this forward. Good, Councilor Lee. Excellent.
Can I ask a question first before I?
No, actually, I need a motion first, and then we'll do. We can ask all kinds of questions.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
sorry about that. Councillor Lee, you just give me a quick motion
Yeah,
there?
be it resolved that the document entitled Eastern Charlotte 2024 to 2028 Capital Investment Plan for the Canada Community Building Fund, CCBF, be adopted.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Councillor Tidd. Question or comment? Councillor Lee.
Yeah, you had mentioned the three places we planned on paving. One was in Blacks, two was in St. George. Where is Brunswick Street in Blacks Harbor?
Brunswick Street is from Hooper's Convenience down over the hill, the old factory hill, factory road.
Yep.
Is that what I thought we agreed that on two places in St. George and one in Blacks. Is that not what we agreed on? I don't know how that got changed, but.
Yeah, it's always been because we did Brunswick Street last year over by the store.
But if you remember when we were having the meeting, you and I stopped you and asked you to clarify that, and it went back to two places in St. George and one in Blacks. I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't
Someone
recall.
else could.
Because we quoted out last year, we would have quoted out certain streets that would have been in the schedule for paving, and really the only one we have left that's on the list as of right now would be the court subdivision, Prince William.
That's it for St. George?
Yep.
We don't, there's nothing else that needs to be paved there?
Nothing that's going to be quoted, that's been quoted as of last year. So we have Carlton Street as well. I think Carlton Street's still on there for 2027, the Carlton Street extension, so.
Okay.
Any other questions? Good questions, Councillor Lee?
I'll make a comment. Yeah,
Councillor-
because I was also.
Councillor Delarakis, you're
Sure,
next.
I was also under the impression that, that St. George was on the list too, for two spots. I just can't remember what the second street was, but, at the committee of a whole meeting that we had a few weeks ago, we did have that discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This was distributed, we had the same Excel sheet for a while. Would be Carlton Street extension. I think that's the only one outstanding for the 2027 year. I don't recall anything else being paved at this point. There was talk of Adventure Lane for at one point. That
We
was
did talk
quoted.
about Adventure Lane, but we decided to postpone that, and I thought that something else had replaced it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Can I speak?
Councillor McCain.
I thought Alexa had made a comment at
Councillor
one,
Delarakis, yeah.
sorry, Councillor
That's it.
Dederakis, sorry about that, had made a comment at one of the meetings, a street that you wanted paved at one point. I'm not sure, because we don't have the information in front of us, but is there, or do we have it? Is it in here? Okay.
You guys have that, right?
Where is it, Terry?
What do you want to do with the question?
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor by Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor Tidd. Are you still good with the motion, Councillor Tidd? You could, Tidd, you go.
I just have one other question. So
Sure.
this is the same working document. Nothing has changed on this, right? Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments on the motion?
Maybe it was.
Councillor Dederakis.
Excuse me. We did also talk about, with the pipe that burst on Brunswick Street, I remember we also had talked about patching that over. So maybe this is where the confusion lies. But this is not part of this. There's still plans to pave that over this spring, correct? Yeah, okay.
That's up
Perfect.
there by the school, you mean? Yep, gotcha. I think the bumps by the school is a good idea. It slows down the school.
Not good for your car.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary. That is passed unanimously. Good. 10C, draft bylaw EC -03-26, the amendment to bylaw EC-03, remuneration of, I always have trouble with that word, remuneration of council. Jason, would you like to speak on this first?
Thank you, Worship. So this is an amendment to bylaw EC 03, which is the bylaw respecting the remuneration of council. This amendment has just one section in it. It'll be under the remuneration of council. The salaries and allowance will be paid biweekly. for all members. I think there was, within the bylaw itself, there was some sections that were showing that mayor and deputy mayor were paid on a different schedule than regular councilors. So this will put all members on a biweekly payment schedule.
That's the key. That's how to say that word. You say it fast. Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Sorry, Deputy Mayor. And the motion is,
Be it resolved that council accept the first reading by title only of the amendment bylaw ECO3 remuneration of council.
good, it's not just me. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Oh, Councilor Thompson, thank you. Question or comment on the motion? Yeah, Councilor did, yeah.
So this, of my understanding with the new payroll system that we have in place by talking to our HR, this is going to make it a lot easier for them too, because of the way it's set up.
Yes.
And just to reiterate that, just for the audience, it doesn't mean any difference in pay for counselors sitting around this table. It just means the way it's being paid out, correct? Thanks.
Yep, I'm glad you clarified that. Yeah. Go ahead. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Good, and that's passed unanimously. Okay, second reading is next, and you want to speak on this?
Yes, Your Worship. So this will be bylaw number EC-0326, bylaw amendment EC-03, a bylaw respecting the remuneration of council for Eastern Charlotte. So this will be, we're looking for a second and a full reading. So just for council and residents' sake, we do have copies that will be at the municipal office as well as available in draft form on the website. So we'll be looking for a second reading.
Great.
Sorry, second reading.
So council, what's your wish? If I don't hear any motion, I move on. So I'm going, Deputy Mayor.
I'll make that motion. Be it resolved that council accept the second reading in its entirety of the amendment to bylaw EC03 remuneration of council.
You're getting better at that. We have a motion on the floor. I need a seconder. Councilor Thompson, thank you. Question or comment? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. And that's passed unanimously. 10D, bylaw number EC-06-A, a replacement by bylaw respecting all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads for Eastern Charlotte. I'll go to Jason to speak on this first.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is bylaw EC-06-A. So this will replace EC-06. I guess just for what residents may be interested in, this will change some of the streets that are approved for use. As of right now, there is just a single route through St. George. So this will allow some of the public or municipal-owned roads to be accessed by ATVs. It does not include, though, ATV usage on industrial park, for example, or private roads or any of the designated highways within St. George. But it does include a list of municipal-owned roads, and most of these roads, of course, would allow for residents to travel to get on that main route of the ATV. So the ATV Federation would still require a HUP to access any of the provincial roads, highway usage permit. They'll have to seek that, and if it is granted, then they can pass that on to the membership, because the requirements are all still here, that you must have an ATV that has proper insurance, they have a membership with Quad NB, and so all those requirements are still there and properly registered as well. But this would just open up to allow for use on municipal roads within St. George.
Great, thank you, Jason. At this point, I'll entertain a motion. Deputy Mayor, you're first.
Be it resolved that council accept the first reading by title only of bylaw EC-06-A, a replacement bylaw respecting the all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads for Eastern Charlotte.
We have a motion on the floor, a second by Councilor Thompson, I believe, yeah. Okay, question or comment? Deputy Mayor, do you want to comment further on this, or is there anything else you'd like to add to it? I know you have a background in this, and I don't, so.
As Jason mentioned, there's going to be two other streets we'll apply for once this comes through to get us as far as the Day Adventure Center, now the Macadavic Drive or Adventure Lane, excuse me, and as far as the Irvin, but those will come after these ones come through, so that comes through the Federation and the province.
Great.
It just opens up more of the town, so people haven't got a trailer 100 feet to get to legal trails, basically.
Right on, exactly. Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. And that is passed unanimously. 10D2, the second reading in its entirety. Do you want to speak on this, Jason? Or is it
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. So, yeah, much the same as last. So the bylaw number EC 06-A, bylaw respecting all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads for Eastern Charlotte. This will be a second reading in full entirety. Copies of the draft bylaw will be available at the municipal office and available on the website. So we'll be looking for a second reading in its entirety.
Okay, we have I need a motion to move this forward. Councilor Lee?
Be it resolved that council accept the second reading in its entirety of bylaw EC-06-A to a replacement bylaw respecting all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads for Eastern Charlotte.
We have a motion on the floor, seconded by our deputy mayor. Question or comment? All those in favor of the second reading of the bylaw EC-06A, replacement bylaw respecting all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads for Eastern Charlotte, signify by saying aye. And that is passed unanimously. 10D3, the date for public hearing of objections. Jason, would you like to speak on this?
And with this bylaw being use of public lands, much like anything with zoning or any type of planning that we typically do, we have a use for a public hearing. The reason why we don't do it on the remuneration, because it's not really a land use or a zoning use. So any type of the zoning use, there's some gray area with the Community Planning Act. So we'll be looking to set a date for a public hearing, a special meeting of council on this bylaw. So typically, I believe there might be a date that we've shared to sort of set a special meeting date or public hearing.
Okay, so there's two options on your suggested motions. The first one, actually, there is a date in there, but I'm going to leave this up to council. Council, what's your wishes? Councilor Thompson.
I move to schedule a public hearing of objections for bylaw EC 06A, replacement of bylaw respecting all-terrain vehicles on municipal roads for Eastern Charlotte on Tuesday, March the 10th at 6:30 in Macadavic Place Community Center.
Okay, Councilor Thompson has made a motion for that meeting to be held on Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. I need a seconder for that. Deputy Mayor. Question or comment? All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. And that is passed unanimously. Councilor, if you can just do me a big favor, can you put that on your calendars? So I don't want any surprises later. I didn't know about that. So. 10Es, awards of the RFQ 2025-008, the demolition and removal of buildings and debris for 160 Back Bay Loop Road, Back Bay, New Brunswick, PID 15009236, pertaining to dangerous and unsightly premises. Jason, would you like to speak on that first?
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is a request for proposal that we put out for the demolition. There was an order for demolition put on this property, and that being property 15009236, and that's on the 160 Back Bay Loop Road in Back Bay. So we did receive three proposals, one from Caltech Construction for $4,749, one from Utopia Groundworks for $7,960, one from 765373 New Brunswick Inc., also known as Spear Construction, for $13,899. All quotations include the supply and labor and equipment, material, and services necessary to complete the demolition and removal of buildings and debris. As part of this demolition, and as advised with the RFQ, the successful contractor must make contact with the Department of Environment due to the property being of the remediation sites management program. So the province has already had interest in this, and we'll be working with the contractor to mitigate the problems that are there. It's my recommendation that we accept the lowest quote on this provided by Caltech Construction for $4,749. And then when it's done, once this work is actually completed, we do send out to that landowner, we send out 2 different invoices, final statements that must be paid, and after that, we will then approach the province to be refunded, reimbursed for the demolition. So that will not be, it's not a new spending, it's just more of a clearing that we typically do, we've done in the past. So we'll just be looking for a motion to move forward.
Council. It's in your hands, Council. Councilor Lee. Okay.
Be it resolved that council award the contract for tender 2025-08 demolition and removal of buildings and debris for 160 Back Bay Loop Road, Back Bay, New Brunswick, PID number 15009236, pertaining to dangerous and unsightly premises, to Caltech Construction for the amount of $4,749.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilor Lee. I need a seconder for the Councilor Thompson. Since that is down your way. Question or comment? Anything you want to say, Councilor Thompson, since it's down your way? No? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And that is passed unanimously. 10F, lease agreement for the upper floor of the St. George Post Office. Jason.
Thank you, Worship. So something we've talked about for the last little while is to secure a lease with the upper floor of the post office in St. George. There is office space that's up there. So with Lake City Properties, that are the owners of that property and landlord for the post office downstairs. So the upstairs, we'll be looking, I think we distributed the copy of the lease. Be a 1-year lease for $800 per month. And so we'll be looking for council to either move ahead with this or not. I guess the main reason for doing this is that we are at capacity with the current municipal office in St. George. Right now our HR is using sort of the board room area, the meeting area. So we really could find a space. All of our non-forward staff would be located there. So much like our treasurer and our assistant treasurer that's upstairs at this time. So we'd be relocating them there.
Great. Council. Councilor Dedorakis?
Motion.
No, I just saw your hand move. So
Oh, no, I'll make the motion. Be it resolved that council approve and authorize the execution of the lease agreement between Eastern Charlotte Lake City Properties Incorporated for the property located on 23 Portage Street, St. George, upper level of the post office, for a term of 1 year commencing on March 1st, 2026, and ending on February 29th, 2027, under the terms and conditions as presented in the agreement.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilor Dedorakis. I need a seconder for that. Councilor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? Councilor Dedorakis, you're first.
So just out of curiosity, how many offices are there upstairs?
You could do 4, no problem. You could probably do more than that. It's just there's some bigger rooms that are upstairs, as well as a kitchen, full bathroom, oddly enough, and also allows us to use the basement storage as well. That's what we're looking for. We do have some old records in Blacks Harbor in a shed that's unheated or anything. Trying to bring those into St. George, and really we don't have any storage in the main office now, so would be having another benefit there as well.
No other questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. And that's passed unanimously. Okay, Council, that brings us to 10G Code of Conduct complaint. I'm going to take this one to the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, fellow councilors, as Deputy Mayor, I have been tasked with chairing the following Code of Conduct complaint. I will allow the complainant to read their letter if they so choose, and I believe they do. And having assured said letter meets all the requirements needed for a complaint, then we will have the mayor give his defense reaction before he is asked to leave the room before we debate.
No, that's my I'll make that declaration.
Okay.
That's all right. Yeah, you do good.
Before he volunteers to leave the room. So
There you go.
if the complainant would read their letter, please.
Dear Deputy Mayor Hatt, I am writing you in my capacity as Councillor at Large for the Municipality of Eastern Charlotte to formally express concerns regarding recent actions taken by Mayor John Craig that raise questions about governance procedures, transparency, and adherence to the Local Governance Act. It was recently brought to Council's attention that a document was signed by the Mayor without prior knowledge, discussion, or approval of Council. As you are aware, matters of this nature fall within Council's collective authority, and decisions with the municipal implications are expected to be reviewed and approved through the appropriate Council process. Council became aware of this matter only after it was reported publicly through a CBC News article. Situations of this nature place Council in a difficult position, as members are unable to respond accurately to public concerns and may receive negative feedback regarding decisions or actions of which they had no prior knowledge. This not only undermines established government's protocols, but also affects public confidence and creates the appearance of a lack of transparency within the municipality. While the mayor subsequently acknowledged the matter to Council, the situation reflects a broader concern regarding decision-making occurring outside of Council's oversight. This issue is particularly concerning considering previous instances where Council have been informed after actions have already been taken. Further, during a Council meeting held on February 10th, 2026, when I raised this matter in my role as an elected representative seeking clarity and accountability, the mayor responded in a manner that I believe was inappropriate for public forum and inconsistent with the respectful and professional conduct expected within Council. To make statements to a councillor that they are holier than thou and that I'm not perfect like you shows disrespect to any council member. Maintaining a respectful working environment is essential to effective governance and to setting a positive example for our community. In addition, I am requesting that a formal review be conducted regarding the mayor's attendance at the International Conference on Aquaculture, Fisheries, and Marine Biology held in Ottawa, November 25th, 2025. As this travel occurred on behalf of the municipality without prior council knowledge or approval, I respectfully request that council be provided with a full accounting of the purpose, authorization, and associated expenses to ensure transparency and compliance with municipal policies. The intent of this letter is not personal, but rather to uphold the standards of accountability, transparency, and collective decision-making required under the Local Governance Act and expected by the residents of Eastern Charlotte. I respectfully request that this letter be placed on the agenda for the council meeting so that council may review these concerns, clarify expectations regarding governance, procedures, and to ensure the appropriate safeguards are in place moving forward. Thank you for your attention to this matter and for your commitment to responsible and transparent municipal governance. Sincerely, Lisa McKay, Councillor at Large.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. At this time, we'll allow the mayor to speak.
Yeah. I'll take each instance separately, and I'll expand on them. First of all, I've got them in different order, but I'll take the trip to Ottawa in November. This was a trip that was paid for by the city of Campbell River, BC, and myself. The Campbell River, BC paid for the flight out, the hotels, and I paid for everything else on my own. There was nothing that the Eastern Charlotte paid for. Luckily, across, if anybody knows Ottawa, there's quite a few Tim Hortons in Ottawa. So luckily, I just went across the street, and that's where I had most of my meals. A full financial disclosure was already filed with the CEO on return. He has that in his office. It was not a pleasure trip, as some of you, if anybody knows, that I don't like flying. It was 3 days of work of lobbying MPs, along with Mayor Kermit Dahl with the city of Campbell River. As some of you may know or may not know, with the Trudeau government, they have plans on banning open net pens in British Columbia by June 30th, 2029. It was important that the MPs in Ottawa heard what effects this will have on local economies. I went because I want to ensure that the government doesn't do that on the East Coast. I was asked by City of Campbell River to go along because the City of Campbell River are going through a lot of stress at this point. It was them that approached me. They wanted a mayor from their coast and a mayor from the East Coast. I went there to make sure that, as I said, that the government doesn't do that on the East Coast. A mayor from each coast describing the importance of the aquaculture industry is to our communities. He spoke first to the MPs, describing how the First Nations were doing well right now. The suicide rate in his area for the First Nations have gone down to almost zero because of the aquaculture industry. They're all working out there. They're afraid that things will go back to the way they were if the federal government doesn't change the way that what they plan on doing with these licenses. So I spoke on, when I was in Ottawa, on our area doing very well because of the aquaculture industry. The schools are doing well. Businesses are trying to expand. Churches, specifically the Catholic Church here, has done very, very well because of the aquaculture industry and the increase in tax dollars for our area. And the biggest thing that I spoke on was, and this is I think a lot of you should realize this, the young people in Eastern Charlotte get to stay home. They don't have to go out west to work because of the aquaculture industry. So we spoke, the mayor, Dahl, and myself, we spoke to as many MPs for a full day, actually almost 2 days. I left on Sunday. I drove to Fredericton. I had my daughter take me to the airport with my vehicle to save money, to save gas. Nothing went through Eastern Charlotte. I'm just trying to do this chronologically, make sure I do it right. I flew out to Ottawa that was paid for by the Campbell River. I paid for my taxi from the airport to downtown Ottawa. Had my own meals at the Tim Hortons across the street from the hotel. It was important for me to go. This type of trip is what I do all the time here in Eastern Charlotte. I promote and I support local industry. The only difference is Mayor Dahl and I went to them in Ottawa. Instead of doing it here in this area, which I do all the time, I speak all the time in this area on local industry and businesses. That is what a mayor is supposed to do. If you want a mayor, that's what a mayor's got to do. He's got to stand up for local industry, for jobs and everything else. I did this on my own for 4 or 5 days because I was asked to go. I felt it was the right thing to do. It didn't cost any taxpayers money. It cost me money and the city of Campbell River. I don't report to council when I speak here in New Brunswick, and I don't believe I breached any policy, any bylaw or law by doing the same there. It's the same thing. I just did it out there, the same thing I do here, and I speak all the time, and you guys never get a report of where I am and what I'm doing. I spoke in December in St. Andrews on the importance of the aquaculture industry in a room of more than, I believe 300 people. With the Premier was there, the MPs were there, MLAs were in attendance. I didn't report to council. I do this all the time. When I go places, a lot of times they ask me to speak. And what I speak about is what we need in our area, what we have to keep. We have to keep people working. And I will do that all the time as mayor. Jobs are important. In October, I spoke at the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame Gala in St. John with the Premier in attendance. Last fall, I spoke at the Wesleyan Church in Blacks Harbor, and I spoke I think, Jason, you were there at the service, and the Penfield Christ Church for their anniversaries. I speak all the time at different events all around, and a lot of times, like I said, when I get there, I'm asked to speak. Oh, the mayor's here. Would you like to say a few words? I don't report to council on that. I never have. I don't think many mayors do. Same thing I did out in Ottawa. I did the same thing. I went out there. There is no policy. There is no bylaw. There's no law saying that I had to tell you where I was going. I did that on my own. Basically, it was my own time, and I went out there. If anything, you should be thanking me for the people of Eastern Charlotte should be thanking me for standing up for jobs in this area. There's many, many more things that I go and I speak to, and I'm not going to list them all here tonight because I don't know because of time. But a mayor is supposed to stand up and support local industry and jobs. If you want a weak mayor and just let jobs disappear, then you have the wrong mayor. I'm asking council tonight not to dismiss these allegations, but rather send them to our legal to tell you what policy, bylaw, or law that was violated. You need to know that, and I need to know that. And I'm pretty sure there's no lawyer sitting at this table. The aquaculture industry in this area needs our help. Anytime now more is very important because of what's going on south of our border, our border because of what's happening down there. We have to have strong leaders in our country to stand up for jobs, and that's what I did. And when I went to Ottawa, I did that for a few days in Ottawa. The second item. Signing a letter of support for local industry that employs up to 500 full-time workers directly or indirectly in Eastern Charlotte without council knowing. Letters of support are very common by the mayor's office. And when this came across my desk from a local industry, I quickly signed it in my enthusiasm for protecting and supporting local jobs. At the time, I saw many mayors had supported the industry as well, including Fundy Shores right next to us. This industry is a great partner, allowing us to develop properties such as the Riverside Park, Eagle's Nest, Canal Beach. The same industry also installed a new clock at the arena at no charge. I firmly believe a mayor, as community leader, should always be defending local industry, local jobs, and all its citizens, and not be scared to step forward at every opportunity. I have done that, and I will continue to do that. Eastern Charlotte's jobs, New Brunswick's jobs, Canadian jobs are since last year being threatened by neighbors to the south. Every job, directly or indirectly, are in danger of being stripped from our country since higher tariffs were imposed. We, and I say we, meaning Eastern Charlotte, have industries such as the softwood lumber, such as aquaculture, such as lobster, as your deputy mayor would know, that need our help as elected officials. By saying all this and putting all that aside, the issue at hand is this. Council, I fully apologize to all of you for not informing you ahead of time on this matter. In hindsight, I probably should have brought this to you. Did I make a mistake? Yes, I am human. And I will remind everybody that the proposal that the industry put forward, that the province turned down the industry's proposal. Again, Council, I'm not asking you to dismiss these allegations tonight, but rather get a legal opinion. That is one of your top options to be able to do. So I and both, all of you know what policy or law that was broken. I need to know that, and you need to know that. The last item on here was the holier-than-thou comment. Yes, I probably should have never said that. I was attacked in a public meeting and was twice asked to resign, and I lost my composure, and I apologize. But nobody at that table or this table here tonight has the right to demand anybody's resignation, for we all of us are duly elected officials. Nobody has that right to even ask for it. I want to remind council that at least 4 to 5 members of this council previously had code of conduct allegations against them, and not one was asked by me or anybody else to resign. Nobody was. You know the reason why? It's because you're not allowed to ask for anybody to resign. And I wouldn't allow it. I would never allow it, and it never happened to 4 or 5 of you as well. Saying all that tonight, I will continue to be your leader and stand up for jobs in the area. That's the reason why I do what I do, and I won't back down from it. At this point, I will declare a conflict of interest, and I will leave the room. Oops. Oops, before I go, I'll give you this.
Okay. Thank you. We'll give the mayor a couple minutes to make his way out of the room. Well, under Section 4 of the municipal bylaws, or the Code of Conduct bylaws, it says complaints. Any person in good faith may report a perceived wrongdoing or make a complaint alleging a breach of Code of Conduct by the councillor. That is where we're at. The report or complaint shall be filed in writing outlining the nature of the specifics, which Councillor McKay just read to us. Depending on the nature of the complaint, this is where it gets back to us. Council may dismiss the report or complaint as invalid, request legal opinion regarding the report or complaint, request the legal counsel investigate the complainant and report to council through the mayor, or in the case of a perceived wrongdoing by the mayor, through the deputy mayor. And if the complaint is termed to be valid by the majority of council or through independent legal advice, council may impose sanctions defining the specific actions to be taken by a motion. So, what's council's pleasure? Do you want me to read that part first, or do you want to have the discussion first? Yeah. Okay, so we'll go. So, a letter of reprimand. Number 2 is requesting a letter of apology. Number 3 is requesting to attend training. Number 4, suspension or removal of the mayor or deputy mayor as official spokesperson for council. Number 5, suspension or removal from some or all council committees and bodies which council has the right to appoint members. Number 6, restricting the privileges of attending conferences and workshops at Eastern Charlotte's expense. And number 7, reduction or suspension of remuneration as council may deem appropriate. So there's 2 parts to this. We've got to decide if it's valid to act on, and then, according to which way we go on that, what our actions may be. Okay. Am I missing anything, Jason?
Mr. Chair, may I have clarification on something, please? Mm-hmm. So it says that depending on, there are essentially 3 options. Depending on the nature of the complaint, the council there are 3 options that we can consider. Mm-hmm. When we consider sanctions, that's not until there's really recourse from, if council was to go through legal counsel to investigate this matter, this would be this is part 2. That's like a part 2 thing. Like what is the course of action on this?
Just for clarification, council can deem that it is valid and move towards sanctions if it wishes. The bylaw, the way it's written, is that would, in order of a step, it would be like you said, a step 2. But council can say, we're going to move forward. This is valid. We're not going to dismiss. We're not going to send this to legal. If it moves to valid, then it can do that as well.
Yeah. And then from that course, once we move this to, if we hypothetically was to move this to legal counsel, and they communicated their findings to the deputy mayor, who then communicated to us, then council would then decide what the sanctions are? That's the course? Okay.
Correct, yeah. It would then move to old business and then be brought back out upon usually a report from our legal counsel.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? So I guess the next step is, what's your wish? Do we need a motion on what we want? Councillor McKay?
It would be my, if I could make a motion, is
Yep.
that what I'm doing right now?
Yep.
Okay, so I move that council request that legal counsel investigate the complaint and report to council through the deputy mayor.
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Any questions? Councillor Gibbs?
And for CAO, maybe you might not be able to answer this, but just in regards to some of this, for a mayor attending a conference, past practice, what has it been in?
We haven't really had much for past practices. If it's something that is expensed, then certainly that's outlined in expenses and monthly expenses. But we have had councilors or council members or mayors that have attended Fredericton Convention, for example, and that's just part of our regular expense. There's no pre-approval to anything like that. So, but yes, as the mayor did mention, he did file with, in regards to his trip, he did file with myself, just a review of what he did, who paid for it, and there was no expenses to council.
So my question would be, so in regards to the two complaints, our mayor was representing council. Was he not representing council at this conference in Ottawa? He was representing us?
Yeah, he'd be using his title as mayor of
Right.
Eastern Charlotte.
So as representing council, and the same with signing the letter for Irving, without us having any kind of input on it, that takes away our role as council to have any kind of input on maybe something we would like for him to say in regards to the Irving situation. I mean, maybe some of us on council were for it, maybe some of us on council were against it, but he took that away from us by not allowing us to have even an opinion. So it's the same with the thing in Ottawa. We had no idea that he was going. Yes, he did it on his own dime, which I think is great. However, speaking for council, and yes, I know he speaks out publicly in lots of things, but when he is actually going, speaking for council, I think council should have some sort of input, because therefore he's acting on his own. A man speaking on his own brings his own honor, but a man going and speaking for the people that he represents speaks for the honor of those people. So that is where my complaint comes from.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. Is there any other questions, I guess, at this point?
I just have one
Councillor
other
Gibb.
comment. The mayor actually is the official spokesperson for the municipality, and he can speak, and the mayor is right in saying that he can speak on any issue. Regarding the issue of signing the letter and us not knowing about it, I do have a little issue with that, because it wasn't brought before council, and I think it should have been.
Under Code of Conduct, Section 3A2, it says, conduct council business in an open and transparent manner that promotes public confidence and trust, recognizing that an individual councillor cannot exercise individual authority over Eastern Charlotte. So that's kind of backing up Lisa's claim, I guess, is what on page 2 of 7. That's the motion that's on the floor, so So I guess if there's no more questions, we'll go to the, whoop.
Actually, I want to explain why I'm going to be supporting the motion. Mayor Craig has over 30 years of experience in municipal politics, and no, I'm not a lawyer, but I think I can read, and I believe that the mayor did break, one of the most basic rules in the Local Governance Act, and the mayor went rogue and made a decision without council knowing. And Councillor McKay had listed some examples. And this does go against the Local Governance Act. In the Local Governance Act, it's cited in section 48.2, the mayor of the local government is subject to the direction and control of council and shall abide by the decisions of council. In this case, council was not aware of these decisions. Us, like the public did, we found out about the existence of a letter through a CBC article, and that's not acceptable. And so I want to reiterate that this was not a rookie mistake. This was willful negligence, okay? And the other part of your complaint, Councillor McKay, you had mentioned about a trip to Ottawa. This was another example in which the mayor had failed to communicate about this trip and failed to seek council's direction regarding that trip. At the time, we were working on a budget. We also had a regular council meeting scheduled. It is totally within council's right. If council wished that, our mayor, the chair of our meetings stays and chairs our meetings, these are pressing matters to deal with, we had full authority to do that, but we were denied that opportunity to make that decision. And I want to also reiterate, this is a council that supports local businesses, supports local economies, supports the agriculture industry. They are the backbone of our local economy. But this is not what it's about. It's not about support, the question is not whether you support this industry or that industry. The question is good governance and procedure. And in this case, in my opinion, procedure was not followed. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
So I guess if all comments and questions are done, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of sending it to legal signify by saying aye. All those opposed, I think it was unanimous. So I guess at this point, we can call the mayor back in.
Okay, Council, that brings us to 10H, which is the donation to the animal shelter. Go to Councilor Lee.
Okay, first of all, the reason I want to make this motion is that they are very, very, very close to completing the building and getting on with the job of looking after rescue animals. So they were under the impression that they had applied for a grant last year, and when I talked to them, I said we didn't see it anywhere. So I don't think they did. I think they were misinterpreting the donation we made to pay the permits for the building. So Having said that, I move to make a donation of $2,000 to the St. George Animal Rescue.
Great. We have a motion on the floor by Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Question or comment on that? Oops, oh, okay, Councillor.
So did we make any donations last year? I can't recall. I think we did.
I think it's about 2,500, I believe, for last year. 800 for them, yeah.
Any other questions or comments? The only comment, I'd like to make a comment, I'm not getting into debate. If you have the opportunity to go to the animal shelter, go. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. I had a chance last weekend to have a quick little tour of it. It's really nice. We're very fortunate to have that building here in Eastern Charlotte. So at this point, I'll look for a vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. It has passed. Correspondence, there are non-public presentations are next. Public presentations are, please note under bylaw EC-01, section 7.1, members of the public shall be entitled to address council for 5 minutes with no debate from council on matters of municipal jurisdiction. I ask that you begin by giving your name and civic address for the record, but I will also add this. During the time, I will not tolerate or allow anybody to make accusations against anybody on any subject that works for Eastern Charlotte, any member of council, or anybody else for that matter. If that happens, I will stop you and you'll be escorted out of the building and you will lose your opportunity to speak to council. So, the mic is there. Yeah, you just go right over the mic and this, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. So just name and civic address, that'd be great, thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Janie. My civic address is 75 Pocalogan Causeway Road. I'm here on behalf of the Eastern Charlotte Chamber of Commerce. And I just have a little note to read to you all. First of all, thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight. This is my first time actually attending one of the council meetings. I've seen you on TV. Thanks so much, Vicki and CHCO. You're amazing. It's really cool to be able to like turn on your television and see all of us local people there. That's great. We have a few exciting things underway at the local Chamber of Commerce. We have a bond spiel coming up on the weekend of March 13th and 14th. So if we have some curlers out there or anybody who likes to curl, invite you all to come down and join us. It's going to be at the St. George Curling Club. And we are looking for some teams, so please let me know if you are interested in that event. Secondly, we're also looking for a part-time administrator for our chamber, and we're looking for somebody familiar with our region who's organized and super interested in connecting with local businesses. Again, if you are interested in that kind of position or if you know somebody, let me know. Lastly, we continue to welcome new members and board members. The chamber offers valuable benefits, including access to the chamber plan, and that helps small businesses access affordable health care and insurance options. And it also offers opportunities to connect and collaborate and support each other through events and networking. At its heart, the chamber is about bringing people together and supporting the businesses that help our communities thrive. We're excited about what's ahead and super grateful to work alongside Council in supporting a strong and vibrant Eastern Charlotte. Thank you all for your time. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And anybody else? Yeah, right up there, Lori. That'd be great. Thank you. Just easier to get you with the camera there.
That timer's going to make me nervous. I'll take you back to it. Laura Lee.
You're all done. It says right there, time expired.
I didn't start yet. I'll get a bit in before it starts. My name is Laura Lee Carrier. I am at 167 CK Justice Lane in Penfield. And I just want to say good evening to your worship and members of council and guests this evening. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. I am just here, I want to highlight a growing challenge in our community, which is the lack of adequate facilities for our nonprofit sector. So I specifically am representing the Community Living Center, St. George and Area Food Bank, Repeat Boutique, and as well as many other MPOs that I've been speaking with in this region. And there's a lot of us. Especially since the fire at Granite Court on January 4th, 4 of us, Viva, which is an autism support group for families, Dr. Brown and Associates, our food bank, and the Community Living Center have all now been displaced. And even though Atlantic Baptists are assuring us that our spaces will be secured and are welcoming us back to be there, we're very grateful for that. And we had a great little community there for sure. And we're there for a long, long time. The problem being is that none of us have enough space there. We've grown out of space. Our needs are increasing. And even though we want to go back, we know that that's still going to be a challenge. So as you know, nonprofits are the backbone of local support. They provide food to our neighbors, mentorship to our youth, and care for our most vulnerable residents. And with services just too many to list here in 5 minutes. Yet many of these organizations are operating out of cramped, temporary, or shared spaces that limit our ability to deliver services effectively. And without dedicated and affordable facilities, nonprofits face constant disruptions, staff are stretched thin, programs are scaled back, and community needs go unmet. And this is not due to any lack of passion or effort on the behalf of these organizations. It's simply a matter of infrastructure. We cannot expect our organizations to meet rising demand if they do not even have a stable place to work from. In our instance, we're facing a lot of increased demand, mostly because of the number of people who are now labeled as being on the spectrum. We find we have a lot of young adults who have all kinds of great skills and abilities and talents, but just need support to navigate the workforce and other social relationships and things in their lives, and they require that support kind of on an ongoing basis. And we're seeing a huge rise in that. I know our food banks see rises in poverty and the use of food. So we are just looking for a place to work from. And like I said, we're constantly being faced by increased demands. And I guess my whole role here is I just kind of want to plant a seed. I've always been kind of a dreamer. I like to dream things and then try to make them happen. And I really want to urge council to consider some solutions that can provide long-term sustainability basis for the nonprofit sector. And we're looking for like a central service complex that could easily accommodate a modern service library. I'm dreaming of that. I'm thinking of the library. We need a modern MB library that could attach and involve like a hub the rest of us. I mean, when we look at like the food bank and the thrift store and community living center, we're paying about $6,000 a month in rent. That's a good revenue stream because most of the nonprofits are pretty secured in their ability to pay rent. We're usually government funded. There's services that are essential, so you know we don't often disappear. So there's a good source of. But right now there doesn't seem to be. We will likely go back to the Atlantic Baptist unless this could get built really fast. And we just don't see there's opportunities for things like, you know, creating hubs in our community and, you know, taking inventory of the infrastructure that you have so that we could, you know, see where we can go. There just doesn't seem to be any place to go. And I know with our board, they've been very active in meeting with the province and with other groups. We've been talking to people who may be selling buildings, and we just are coming up empty. There just doesn't seem to be, you know, and we know that the YMCA, who's much needed resource for our area too, is looking for space. So it seems to me that we can't find this to put together. We're going to have to create it. I'm asking you to build it. Good. And I think we have, you know, lots of resources too, because, well, right now I'm just working with a group of very Indigenous young people with a Renaissance, the UMB Renaissance College. And it was funny because they approached me right after the fire. We're looking to do a project with us. And they wanted to look at overcoming a major community challenge. So I thought, this might be a good one. So they're kind of on board, and I do believe they're going to be meeting with council sometime next week to go over some of these ideas. We also work really closely with our own community boards and partners. I think we can bring the resources. I have no idea about a plan or a budget or anything. I'm just here to try to plant this seed and hope that this will be something that'll stay with you. I see I've worked in this community for 42 years plus, well, in this industry for 42 years, many more other years, but I've never seen anything be built for Eastern Charlotte. You know, I see almost every community in New Brunswick gets rec centers and Q-plexes and things. We've never gotten anything, and I wonder why. Like, and isn't it our turn? Shouldn't we be getting something now?
Well, thank you very much, Laura. I have to catch you. You've been expired for a while, believe it or not. I hate to tell you, but I thank you very much, and I tell you the work you do personally for the community living group, you deserve a lot of medals, and we appreciate everything you do. That group makes my heart go every time I get the opportunity to go visit and talk to them. Exactly. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Anybody else tonight? If not, I'm going to go to council. I'm going to go to my left, Deputy Mayor.
Very slow tonight. I guess I thank everybody for coming. I appreciate everybody's patience with my muddling through the last section, so thank you, everybody.
Councillor Thompson. Councillor Dedirakis.
Deputy Mayor, I think you did a great job chairing for that period of time, so don't be too hard on yourself. Laura Lee, you hit it right on the head. It seems like our municipality is getting passed for provincial funding quite regularly, and I want that to change. I don't see why we don't have the same opportunities as our neighboring communities, as the neighboring municipalities, why we don't have the similar support, but that needs to change. I don't want the province, I want the province to know that, one, we exist. I want the province to know that we're willing to work with them, that we're willing to sit at the table with them, and that we want a piece of that freaking pie, right? Like, all these other communities get to savor on that slice. We deserve that slice too, okay? And yeah, I'm just going to say it again. Eastern Charlotte deserves better. We don't have any, like, we're running dry when it comes to existing infrastructure. You mentioned the YMCA. You mentioned the need for community living, for the food bank. We don't have a ton of options in our community. We have to get something built. And one of the ways that we can ensure that happens if with sufficient provincial support, which we deserve.
Councillor McQuarrie. Councillor Lee.
I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight. It's the biggest crowd we've had in quite a while. I was expecting more people. I see a few people out there I thought might come up to the mic, but anyway, thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
Councillor McKay.
First of all, Laura Lee, excellent. I 100% agree with you. And Councillor Dedirakis, yes, absolutely. I guess what I want to do as a councillor is apologize to the residents of Eastern Charlotte, because I feel I have failed you as a councillor. I was not political when I ran for this office. I had delusions of grandeur that we were just going to come in the 4 years and things were just going to, we were just going to change the world. And call it my arrogance, call it my pride, whatever, I've been humbled. I found out over these last 4 years that things don't happen. There's so much political red tape. You know, funding is ripped from us. And as far as the whole code of conduct thing, I found out just recently, and I didn't realize this, that things were supposed to be done openly and transparently. And there have been a few code of conduct things, one about myself. And it was done privately. And I apologize. I didn't know. And that's on me, because that was I should have done due diligence as a counselor and found out that things were supposed to be done the other way. So I apologize to the residents of Eastern Charlotte for my part. And moving forward, I will say it again, I have worked with the best people on this council. I've said it before, and I will say it until I take my last day here. I will not be running again. But I really hope that all these councilors, because you have a great council here. And I just want to thank you all for coming out. You have been wonderful over these past 4 years, and I appreciate you all.
Yeah, Councillor Tidd.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight also. I just reiterate what a few councillors have said across the table here in regards to provincial and us getting a fair slice of the pie. It just seems like every time we turn around, we're getting stumped, whether it's childcare and the funding that the province was going to give us, and now they backed that down. Whether it be communications from a health center, finding out it was going to 5 days a week, and talk about reading it online. That's where this council read it, or that's where I read it. So, and it's not that we haven't reached out. Our CAOs reached out through letters, correspondence, and we've got a 2 or 3 line email back. So, I think some open dialogue with the province has to take place. And, we're willing. We're sitting here. We've done everything that we can do, and hopefully they'll take us up on some of that offer, because it's pretty discouraging to sit around this table when we can't get the other party at the table. Thanks.
Great. That ends that. And that brings us to number 14. Date and location of the next regular meeting of council is March the 18th, right here at 7 o'clock at Macadavic. I need a motion for adjournment. Deputy Mayor, thank you.